Cliff, you hold the distinction of being the youngest trainer in Australian racing history to saddle up 3 Derby winners. That must have been an enormous thrill for you.
Yeah, look, it was. It was a great thrill. It was a long time ago, but no, it was good. Yeah.
Your CV is very impressive. It doesn't end there. It's 13 Group 1 and 2 winners, including a Rosehill Guineas and Adelaide Cup. And just for good measure, 3 more South Australian derbies.
Yeah, no, look, we've been very fortunate along the lines. We've never trained big teams. It wasn't until we got here that we trained a lot of horses. At the farm, we used to only train about 12 to 15. So we were very fortunate. Dad bred some really nice horses and it went well.
What are some of your vivid memories back there with your dad? Because you did have a lot of success together.
Well, look, we did. We always did. Look, we always had the Tarnpea Lane Chevy at Markham and the Mission and Fubu. Look, every year we had a good horse, so we were very lucky.
In 2008, you decided to ply your craft over here. What was the attraction?
Look, it was one of those things. At the time, I couldn't see where prize money was going in Australia. Your costs were high, and here provided a different change, and it's been a really good move.
2011, you made your mark pretty quickly, ironically with another Derby in Clint.
Yeah, it was great. He was a great horse to us. Clint, a fantastic horse. It was great to win the Derby. Any big race is a good race. We've been lucky with Derbies, I suppose. We've sort of just got beaten. No, we didn't just get beaten. We got thrashed this year, but we ran second, and no, it's okay.
You obviously liked training a staying horse. You've got such an affinity with the Derby.
Yeah, look, I don't know why it is. I think it takes. No, that's probably not fair. I think I enjoy the planning of it a long way out. You know, you have to plan probably 12 months out to find the right horse, get it ready, take your time and come through. You know, we've sort of been placings in Queensland Derbies, AJC Derbies, all that sort of stuff. I do enjoy that side, yeah.
It didn't end there in 2011 either, because you had good Group 3 wins with Tenzing and Zach Influence. They were good horses for you.
Yeah, great. Look, Tenzing's a funny horse. He either wins or runs nowhere, so he's fine. And Zach Influence is one of my favourites. He's always been injury plagued, one of those horses, and every year he just keeps coming up and standing up. And I bought a horse that won the other day, having his first start, his half-brother, and only bought him because of Influence, so I know he's been very good to me.
A new star on the horizon now with a horse called What's Now. He must be very exciting for you.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He's a great horse. He's done a great job, and yeah, no, he's going good. He won a Group 2 starts ago, just got beaten the other night. It was great, so no, he's a nice horse.
So out of all the horses that have come through the Cliff Brown stables here in Singapore, what's one that you've got the greatest love for or affection for?
Oh, it would be What Now and Zach Influence. What Now's a character, and Zach Influence, look, I just admire him. He's the most toughest, mentally, physically horse you'll come across. You know, he was very unlucky in the Gold Cup. He ran third in a Group 1, and he was fourth up into the sort of mile-and-a-half race of the Gold Cup, and no, he's remarkable.
And you've been privileged enough to have runners in the Melbourne Cup and see have good horses in a lot of different jurisdictions. What's the greatest horse you've seen, not necessarily trained?
Look, I've never seen him. I watched him. I mean, Frankel was outstanding. He was something else. Black Caviar's amazing, isn't she? And when I worked in England, there was a horse called Nashwan. He was a champion. So, look, I've seen lots of good horses.
You're very well established here now. You've got a great little setup. Tell us about your stable here. How many boxes?
Yeah, look, we have 50 boxes. Doesn't mean you actually have 50 racing. It's sort of it's things you have to learn about resting them. So some are coming in, getting ready, some are resting, some are racing. So it's always having a flow and having a 12-month flow that you've got to learn those things. And for a while there, you do muck it up until you all you work out which way to do it and which way to keep the runners coming through.
Was that a bit of a learning curve for you, coming from somewhere like Australia where you can send horses off to the paddock for a spell and then not being able to sort of do that?
Oh, 100%. Look, if I went back to Melbourne tomorrow, I'd be a far better trainer than I left. Because you do learn to manage things, I think, far better than you do back in Australia, because you have that ability to throw them in the paddock and, but here you've got to work your way through problems and work your way through planning and bits and pieces. No, this has been a great learning curve.
You're probably one of the more, I'd say, technologically savvy trainers. You pride yourself on your website and your communications with your owners. That's become a really important part of the racing game, hasn't it?
Look, it's very important, but to be honest, I'm useless at it. I've got a guy who does it all for me, who works for me up here. It's important, yeah, it is. People like to know what's going on, but no, I'm useless at it, yeah.
Having been in here now for the 5 years, have you sort of become fluent in language and the cultures of the place?
No, to be honest, my language is very basic. My wife's very good. She's learnt Mandarin and she really flies at it, and she does it every week, so she's done a great job. But it's one of those languages you have to put so much time into too. So, but the culture and that, yeah, you learn about it, and look, we're very different culturally, but you're very accepting of it. This is their country, and we have to adapt and change. But there's so many philosophies they have that are very, very interesting.
Having been spoiled, I guess, for great facilities where you've been in Australia, how do you sort of compare what they have here? It's quite impressive,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
fantastic. Look, we want for nothing. Every facility from the veterinary to anything is all here. It's great. We don't have to travel. There's no floats. We just walk to the races each time. They're big things. You know, when I was at Narberthon, I might leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, not get home till midnight. So that aspect's all gone. It's great.
Nice new swimming pool here too as well.
Fantastic. It's about 200 metres from here, so that's tremendous. And yeah, it'll make life much better when it opens.
So away from racing, what does Cliff Brown enjoy doing with his time? You've got a young family.
Yeah, I've got a young family. Look, what do we do? There's always a kids' activity. I tell you, we do a bit of wakeboarding, follow the AFL, all that sort of stuff.
I
Yeah.
was going to touch on that because I know you're a passionate AFL fan. You're a Geelong man.
Love it. Yeah, no. Actually, quite ridiculous. I go completely mad at the football.
How do you keep up with what's happening back at home?
No, look, you read, and we get eight games a weekend here. It's really good.
What about the Australian racing scene? You still keep an eye on what's sort of happening back at home?
Yeah, 100% you do. Yeah, you always watch it and you're always interested, and you've got friends still training in bits and pieces, and always really pleased when they're going well.
We'll never be short of a compatriot here. You've got plenty of Australians not too far away to sort of lean on their shoulder if you need be.
No, look, they're a good bunch. They're a really good bunch of blokes, so it's good.
And any sort of racing people thinking about maybe coming to Singapore and racing one, what sort of advice would you give to them?
Look, it's very interesting that because people that have come up here have sent a horse, have actually all now got 2 or 3 in work because it is such a cost-effective place to race. It's the training fees are very cheap compared to the rest of the world, yet the prize money is so good. If you put $1 in, you'll get $3 or $4 back when you win a race here. That's the difference. Where in other countries you can actually lose money in the training fees to prize money. So it is a great spot.
And quite unique, obviously, with the rebate system as well.
Fantastic. We get it $900 every time you have a runner as an owner. Unless you win or run last, you don't get it. They're just incentives that are there. The veterinary is all subsidised to some point. So no, it's a great spot.
So while your horse is in work, there's every chance you could actually offset your costs totally.
Look, you sort of can't because you won't run enough in a month, but you'll certainly reduce your costs a lot. Yeah.
And what about one to follow from the Cliff Brown stable? Obviously, you've got the new one on the block there, and what now? But is there something that the punters might be able to keep an eye on?
No, listen, there's no star on the horizon, but we're doing our best. That's about all.